Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Women in Action. And today, to start my inspirational reflection for today, is something I think about regularly, and that is talking about nature and nurture. The human life, the way we developed, the way we become who we become, it's about our nature as well as our nurture. And nurturing is about socialization, it's about institutions, it's about what we are taught and how we learn. And one of the very important institutions that we learn from is the library. And I just listened to a video in one Zoom session I attended today in memory of one of our very honorable brother, late brother Nabil, who wrote a book on the 11 qualities of the Prophet Muhammad, 11 leadership qualities of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that we should all learn from. And that video was talking about the fact that a home without a library within it, it's almost like, a heartless home. Because if you see in our modern homes today, every home would have, if not a bookshelf, at least you would have a bookshelf if you don't have a whole room dedicated to books and learning. And so the guest I'm going to be having today, it's all about nurturing of human. It's all about, she's passionate about how we become who we become through our culture, through our nurturing, and through everything we do. You're going to get to meet her, and you would understand more what I mean about our nature and our nurturing. So I'll take a quick break and I'll be back. My guest today is somebody that I admire a lot. And you would say that, I always say that on this show. Most of the women, if not, it's not most, I'll say all of the women I bring on the Women in Action platform are women that are impacting not only their own life positively, but are also impacting the lives of people around them. And when I come across these women, the first thing that comes to my mind is, what can I learn from them? How can I become like them? And that's why this whole idea of Women in Action, came into fruition, which is trying to highlight the way these women become who they become. And my guest today is my darling sister, somebody I say again that I admire a lot, Mrs. Olubimi Falilat Alabi. Alaja Alabi, as I like to call her, is a business administrator and management graduate from Federal Polytechnic Bida, where she obtained a national diploma from Federal Polytechnic Nasarawa. And she has also worked as an executive officer in the finance department of Federal Capital Authority, Abuja. She obtained a master's degree in information science from City University of London while working as a full-time library assistant. So you know where the issue of library, comes into the conversation now. Mrs. Alabi is very passionate about healthy community through self-improvement. And that's why she, gets involved in all kinds of community projects, in this regard. And she has served in various positions, including being the Assistant Secretary General of the Muslim Association of Nigeria, UK, where I have the fortune of meeting her. and working with her. And I can attest to the fact that this is a woman that is after my own heart in terms of the kind of things she does, the way she relates with people, and the way she brings nurturing into what she does. And also, she has been the coordinator of the Man Sister, which is, a group of sisters who are trying to do as much as they can to ensure that as women, we have the kind of impacts we should have in our community. And she has coordinated this group, which is, a great thing. And she has also been the Secretary General for our school alumni. I think she's in that position at the moment. And she's a member of Chartered Institute of Library and Information Professional, and presently the manager of Thamesmere Library in Southeast London. Alaja Alabi, hello, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
barakatuh. I don't know. I wanted to be very formal in introducing you, but the thing is, you are someone that I admire a lot. I've related with a lot, at a very official and less official level. And yes, I've read all that long missive about your academic qualification and the kind of things that you get into. But if I was to meet you outside and I don't know you at all, and I say, may I know who Falilat Alabi is, what would you say to me?
Thank you very much for inviting me to this platform, Sister Rashida, as I always call you also. Just as you say, Alaja Alabi, I say Sister Rashida, Sister Rashida. Thank you for inviting me. I really commend your efforts. I like all you do for the community. So, to say who Falilat Alabi is, see, Falilat Alabi wears different hats, as you said earlier on. So different people mean different things. So the people at home, I'll be mom, I'll be wife. To the community, I'll be their sister, and at work, I'll be a colleague. But one thing stands out with me. I don't like cheating. I like equal opportunity. I like to be heard. I've always liked to be in the forefront. Anywhere I am, I can't be silenced. So that's one thing that stands out about me.
So if I want to sum it up, Falilat is someone who likes to impact, who likes to win. And that's why you are a winner woman. That's why you are on this platform today. Yeah. Now, let's now move on to, because what I try to do on this platform is I want to have a peek into your life so that other women can take a cue from you and try to be inspired, to do what they should be doing also. It's women in action, taking action, women taking action. Now, the question I would like you to answer next is, tell us about your growing up. How was it growing up as a girl? We said you said something about the fact that women, you like to be heard, and we all know about the story of how women are usually not to be heard, they're to be seen and all that. So what was it like for you growing up?
The thing is, in my family, we are a family of 5 girls. Wow. We're just one boy. So I'm used to, living around women. Yes. So it's not as difficult as, some people will say. I grew up in Nigeria, Ondo town in particular. So my growing up was, how will I say, it was a kind of growing up that, someone would, I kind of have my mom, as a role model that I always look forward to. And I have some aunties and uncles that, I want to, be like them when I grow up.
Okay.
So in my young age, at the very young age, I went to Jos. I lived with my aunts in Jos, Plateau State of Nigeria. So from then, I've been trying, to, start my entrepreneurial ability. I went to St. Michael Primary School in Jos at, Yanshano, and there, I was selling, what they use, condensed milk to make
Okay.
cookies, I would make
Okay.
these cookies and I would sell to my, my classmates, my schoolmates in the afternoon. So I like, to be among people and to do something. Not just, I just can't be sitting down. I'm not the type that can be still at a point in time. Yes, so it's been with me from a young age. It didn't start now.
Now, there was something you said about the fact that you grew up among girls. Your parents had like 5 girls, and there was just that one boy amongst you. But the truth is, at the time you were growing up, what was it like for women, to make life choices?
Mm.
Was it very easy, and was it easy for you to, as to decide as you're growing up, or I want to be like my auntie, like my uncle? But was it a very easy ride for you? Were there difficulties in making those choices?
Well, there wasn't much stress in the primary school level. When I got to the higher institution, uh, during my ND days, when I did the national diploma at Federal Polytechnic in Nasarawa, you have this idea of some male lecturers, feeling that they want to have I think they already excel in this belief, that they have to be gratified, they have to be appreciated, in the other way, other than you writing their exam and passing their exam, you understand? So it was difficult going to higher institution in Nigeria as a woman. And the thing is, the lecturer that tried it with me, he got the wrong person. He was my accounting lecturer. So when my result came out and it wasn't what I wrote, I confronted him.
Wow, you have
I
the
said, yes, I said, I am going to call for my paper to be remarked because I know what I've written. But how many of us can, stand up to lecturers like
and
that?
do that, yeah.
Except you are sure of what you have written, except you are sure of your ability. You can't do that. You can't stand up to any lecturer. You understand? So this idea of, having a godfather to do this, having guardian, to help you go through certain hurdles in Nigeria is still there in Africa. But that I didn't see here.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
I didn't see
let,
that.
let me come in there. You grew up in the north, and from what you said, and one of the places in the whole world that people seem to use as example of saying that women, girls are not being educated, are places like the northern parts of Nigeria. So you growing up in the north, was it that, okay, just because you're not in northerner, in terms of you're not an outside lady, was that the reason that you found going to school, following your life choices? Was that why you would you say that is why you find it easy? Do you think others find it as easy?
I wouldn't say others find it easy. And the fact that I went to higher institution in the north, Bida and Nasarawa, does not mean that I couldn't have gone, to school down south. It's just because that time I was living with my uncle. in the north.
Okay.
You understand? So I would say the ladies in the north, they, as at that time that we were in school, there weren't many, like with the southerners or easterners, coming to school in the north. There are lots of us coming from, that side than them. You understand? But these days, nowadays, what I see is that the northerners are beginning to, encourage their children, their girl child, to go to school.
To go to school.
You understand? So they do more of it. As at that time, it was mostly Yorubas, the Igbos, all these things, the middle belters that are more in higher institutions. Because most of them at that time, I won't lie, most of them go to school immediately after, they go to school after their secondary school. Some of them marry or they diversify into other things, you understand? So
not for that education.
I wouldn't know how easy or difficult it was for them at that time.
Now let's come to you and the works that you do. Can you tell us some of the works, some of the things that you have been involved in, and also how you got to being involved in those things?
Thank you for that question. If I begin to list, I think I have too many. I'll take too much of your time.
I want you to give me as many as you can within the time we have.
Okay, right. Yes. The thing is, I am somebody that is very proud of my heritage. So I like to promote my culture. I like to promote where I come from. So during Black History Month, I would want to do Yoruba rhyme time, Yoruba story time in the library, and from my secondary school days, I've been somebody that is involved with cultural activities. Yes, I was in the cultural and dramatic society. So maybe I would have even been an artist.
That makes two of us. We should both be acting.
Yes, because I so much like, anything to do with my culture, and I believe that, I have to give back to my community. So I formed the Nita Nata group within my work environment, and we raise funds for so many charities, cancer research, the stroke community, the children community. So we've done lots of, charity work within the Nita Nata group. And this thing, still was with me when I went to the higher institution here to do my master's. I still wrote my dissertation on, the impact of library activities on the, attenders, on the people that are attending these activities, because I wanted to know if, coming to the library to do these things, if it has any impact on them. So, because I've read in some places that, knitting or crochet is medicinal, is therapeutical, is something that helps with the reflex, the movements of the body. And you think, there's this kind of concentration that you develop when you are knitting or when you are doing any project, because you want to get it right. You understand? So that also helps stimulate the brain. You understand? And then within the Muslim community too, I, did a lot of outing with the sisters, and I did this thing, First African Tea Party with the sisters too, just to raise funds for our mosque that we are trying to rebuild. Apart from that, during this pandemic, I started with you, we started the OU Believe
And
program,
you became our very, very
Yes, and I became
respected,
accidental presenter.
respected presenter. It's a natural thing.
Yes, so
When my reflective notes today was on nature
yeah,
and nurturing.
yeah,
By nature, you already had it in you. What
yeah.
this has done, what's being on OU Believe and all those things I've done is to nurture what you already have in you. And alhamdulillah, it's so delightful to see you, doing those things. And I look forward to you doing more of those. Now, my question now, when you were talking, you talked about the fact that with your library work, you wanted to see how coming into the library impacted on people's life and the kind of things they do. You are a wife, you are a mother, you are also working in the library and you are working with the community. How do you make your own identity within this space that you are talking about? With all these things, how do you make your own identity?
Well, the thing is, if you want to make your own identity in any situation, I mean, in any community that you find yourself,
Yeah.
first you have to study where you're coming from, and then you have to study the atmosphere, the place that you find yourself, and you have to have that determination that, okay, this is where I'm going, and this is where I want to pass to go to that place. I've had it in me that I want to bring out my heritage. I want to be able to showcase my culture. And I see that the only place easier for me to do it within the British community, because this is no longer the African community. So to bring my culture out, I have to go through the channel, the legal channel, which is the library that I've gone through. So where in the library there, I have seen, people of different cultures, coming together. So I learn other people's culture, bring it together with mine. And alhamdulillah, my family, they are very supportive.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a supportive home front, it will be difficult, for you to do all these things. Even when I wanted to go for my master's, they were the ones that said, Mom, you can do it. You should do it.
I was just going to come to that. I'm aware that, within all this, you went back to school, studied and got your master's. Where did you get the strength to do that? There are a lot of women today who would say, there is no way I'm going to combine being a homekeeper and a worker to also studying. So where did you get that strength from?
I'm from Ondo State.
Oh, what does that mean?
And
what does that mean?
From my state, we like education.
Okay.
So no one is too old to study. No one is too old to be anything. You understand? So that belief within me that you can be what you want to be at any age. You understand? There is no age limit to acquiring knowledge. You understand? And another thing, again, I would say is the fact that my kids were no longer in the stage, at the stage where they require my presence 24/7, like some young mothers. Going back to for masters after 20-something years of this thing, the first degree. So definitely, I should have that, leverage. I should have that kind of, how will I say, kind of, leeway to be able to fit these things in. Sometimes I'll be doing my homework right into the middle of the night. Even my office, my colleagues, my colleagues were really superb.
Yeah.
They really
We're talking
supported
about
me.
supporting networks.
They supported me, honestly. Yeah. I didn't have the issue of, oh, only you didn't come to work today, only you didn't do this. No, they will give me even extra time to go and study.
Wow.
My
That's
manager,
amazing.
Tony Marion, God bless him, he usually give me his office to study.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
yeah, when I have assignment.
I guess in that you are very lucky, because
Yeah,
not everyone
yeah.
will have that kind of opportunity. But then there are a lot of people who have those kind of opportunities, but they don't take it.
They don't
So
want to
for
use
you
it.
to have taken it, it shows that you are someone who know what they want and actually, went for it. And that is quite amazing. And that's why you are a winner woman. Now, my next question to you, it's about the fact that you are a Muslim woman, and you identify as one, and everybody knows you as one. But the general belief is that Muslim women are usually not able to go after their dreams, because they are supposed to be, very only, not come out. They are not supposed to be seen. What is your own take on that?
I would say this is a matter of individual.
Mm.
If you want to put yourself down, people will put you down there. You have to first raise your shoulder high that this is what I want to be. You must, you must identify what you want yourself. Even the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he helped his wife, Khadija.
Mm.
He supported her in her business, encouraged her to do what she wants to do, encouraged Aisha to teach people, the Quran, things like that. I came into marriage as a Christian, you know that.
Oh,
Yes,
I didn't
I
know
am a
that.
Muslim by marriage. And
Okay.
so I may not be able to, do some verses or make some, citations or things like that. But what I have known, what I've read is that the women, when they say women are not to be heard, it's not that they said they should not progress. It's not that they said they should not progress in career development. What I understand is that when a woman is praying or singing, that her voice should not be too high, so that men, will not be admiring her, to the detriment of our marriage. You understand? That is my own level of
Understanding
understanding
of that.
of
Okay.
that. So my husband really supported me. He wants me to be out there. He wants me to do everything.
And you're doing so, and you're doing amazingly well.
So
And making
that's why
me
I say it's a
proud.
matter of individual. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting that you said, especially the fact that you said that you are a Muslim by marriage. A lot of people would say, yeah, it's one of the things they say. Men would, when you marry a man, because you're not a woman, automatically you have to take up their religion, and that's why the men are, they have this superiority over women. Now, you chose to be a Muslim, or were you forced by your husband?
Never,
Sure.
never, never.
Okay, alhamdulillah. That's
Even when we first got married, I wasn't covering my hair. You understand? Yeah. I wasn't covering my hair. I was doing my style, doing everything. And then, there was a
giving
time he
it
said,
yourself.
you saw me and you know who I am. You saw the
I'm
way
going
I
to do
was.
another Gbeburu now. Something that you
And
possibly don't think I know. When you were talking
yeah,
initially, you said, oh, as a student in the higher institution, that
yeah,
some lecturers, they try to take advantage of
yeah.
women and all that. Now, I'm aware that your husband was a lecturer at your school.
No, 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 no. Okay,
No.
go on, go on.
Let me go on. Let me land. Then
All
you can
right.
now clarify.
Okay.
Now, I'm aware that he was a lecturer at
Yeah.
the school where you finished. Or I don't know. How do you balance? How do you balance that aspect of the fact that he was a lecturer, maybe not your directly teaching you, or maybe he was teaching you. I don't know that much, but the much I know is that he was a lecturer at the school where you finished. So how did you guys manage that?
Right. Thank you. And you will get the clarification today.
Yes.
Yes. We met at Federal Polytechnic Nasarawa as students.
Okay.
He was working, he was working with the ministry in Abuja, and I came from Mina, and we both met at Nasarawa. So I went for my HND in Bida. He went for his in Yaba, we parted like that, but we had already met from Nasarawa, became the, best couple on campus.
Wow.
I was already doing everything, I'm not the type that, like I said earlier on, I'm not the type to be silenced. I'm an extrovert. I like to be out there, doing things for my community. When you called me for this program, I asked you, I said, what have I done that you want me to come and talk about? Because I didn't see it as something so special. I just see it as something that is required of me as a human being to do to my fellow human beings. So my husband went back to lecture at Federal Polytechnic Nasarawa after we had left.
Okay.
So I did not marry.
Okay. But let me ask you now. Let me ask you, what is your view about lecturer, as in lecturer, marrying from their students?
So many lecturers.
No, aside from the fact that, okay, you talk about people taking advantage. If there is no advantage being taken, is there anything wrong in that?
There isn't anything wrong in that. If the lecturer, is trying to, go out with this lady just because this lady is a human being, not because she's my student, I can lord over her, I can tell her what to do, not wanting to say you want to sleep with me to get mark. I don't want your mark. I'm ready to work for my grades because that's where I have been sent to school. You understand? So
yeah, actually, I think that's even something that can be discussed on a different level, because people talk about ethical issues. Ethics comes in. How do you ensure that there is there is an ethical kind of relationship between lecturer and a student? So even if there is love, how do you manage the love and the ethics of it? It's something entirely different. Let me just say to those watching us either on Facebook, YouTube, on Twitter, please do remember to click on the subscription button or follow us on Facebook. And if you do have any questions or there is anything you would like my guests to talk about, please you can put it on the chat, and we will take it from there. And for those of you who are here on Zoom with us, I would give you an opportunity to ask my guest one or two questions or make a comment if you want to. When we get to that time, I'll let you know. But before I go on with the interview, let me just quickly take a break and see some of the amazing work that my guests have done.
And the title of the book is The Little Red Hen and the Grains of Wheat. So it's the book has been translated by Abimbola Alao. So àkọlé eré tí mo fẹ́ kà lẹ́ni ni adìyẹ pupa kékeré àti èso àlìkámà, èyí tí arábìnrin Abimbola Alao túmọ̀ fún wa. Ní ọjọ́ kan, adìẹ pupa kékeré ń rìn láàrin oko nígbà tí ó rí èso àlìkámà. Ó rò ó nínú rẹ̀ pé mo lè gbin èso àlìkámà yìí, ṣùgbọ́n mo ní láti wá ìrànwọ́. Adìẹ pupa kékeré pé ó ké sí àwọn ẹranko yòókù nínú oko. Ó ní, ǹjẹ́ ẹnikẹ́ni lè ràn mí lọ́wọ́ láti gbin èso àlìkámà yìí? Ológbò dáhùn pé, èmi kọ́, iṣẹ́ mi pọ̀ jọjọ. Ajá dáhùn pé, èmi kọ́, iṣẹ́ mi pọ̀ jọjọ. Pẹ́pẹ́yẹ dáhùn pé èmi kọ́, iṣẹ́ mi pọ̀ jọjọ. Adìẹ pupa kékeré dáhùn pé ó dára, èmi ò dá ṣe é. Ó sì mú èso àlìkámà yìí, ó gbìn ín. Ìkùùkuu mú òjò wá, oòrùn sì ràn, àlìkámà dàgbà. Ó tóbi, ó ga, ó sì pọ́n. Ní ọjọ́ kan, adìẹ pupa kékeré rí i pé àlìkámà yìí ti gbó dáradára. Ó sì tó àkókò láti gé e. See?
Wow. Interesting. You know what? I want to know how you do this, because we are talking about culture and language. It's sometimes very difficult when you're living in a country where you have to learn other people's language, you have to speak other people's language, and you want to, and this is the UK, for instance, is a multi-cultural, multi-language place where you have different people. How did you convince the people you work with that it is worthwhile to do the kind of thing that you're doing?
Thank you for that question. The thing is, in Southeast London, the demographic, the social status of the people within that setting is mainly African. We have a high percentage of Blacks in Southeast London. So it wasn't really difficult, to convince them that this is what we want, this is what the community wants, and we even have Yoruba group that come, they come to the library every Wednesday to teach the children Yoruba, because we don't want this language to go completely. Because at home, we speak English to the children. In the school, they speak English. Where else would they speak their mother tongue? So my colleague, my bosses at work, they were really up for it. As soon as I said, oh, I can do Yoruba, they said, oh, only
they accepted. You know something that you said? You said within the Southeast, it's obvious that there are a lot of Africans and of course a lot of Yoruba people. But the thing is, a lot of us, when we stay or live in environment, we don't take notes of what is in our environment. And if we don't take notes, we cannot look at the opportunities that we can have from those, things around us. So it was because you obviously can prove that this thing is needed in my environment. This is Southeast London, where we have a lot of Black people and especially a lot of Yoruba speaking people. That's quite amazing. Now, the next thing I'm going to want you to talk about is you as a wife. As a wife. And as somebody who believes in culture and believes in the marriage institution, how are you able to ensure that the kind of things you do, the work you do, does not in any way interfere with your role as a wife and as a mother?
I won't. It hasn't affected it anyway. So, to the best of my understanding, it has not affected my home negatively. Definitely, it has affected it positively, because there is no way you would do something that it won't have any effects. So it's either negative or positive.
Yeah.
You understand? So I would say it has affected, my family positively. The kids, because they are among works in the library, they like going to the library. You understand? They like participating in summer reading challenge, doing things that will help their literacy. You understand? So, and at home too, my husband, he coming to the UK, what really brought him was studies. He came to do his master's before we joined him. So we don't really take education lightly in my family. So the fact that I'm working in the library is a plus to my family, I would say, because everyone in my household, they are all library assistants. They've done one thing or the other
with the library. Yeah.
So,
what would you say to a woman now watching us possibly who feels like, oh, I want to do something. I really want to make something of my life, but I can't do it because, I have to think of my husband, I have to think of my home, I have to think of my children, and I'm not even sure if I can cope with everything together. What would you say to them?
I said earlier on that you have to first know yourself, recognize who you are and what you want in life. You have to define it. What do you want in life? Do you want to be a housewife? Do you want to just be a sit at home that everybody goes and come back home to meet you? So you have to decide within yourself what you want to do.
What do I want to do?
Before you present it. When I came, I allowed my husband to finish his own, studies, and I gave my kids time to grow to the level that.
So there is a sort of planning.
That the concentration will be easy for me. So if I don't have to start running for, parent evening, all these things, we still do parent evening,
But not as much as it was at the.
Yeah, but myself and my husband, it was an understanding that, okay, you go to this, I'll go to this, or they always email or they phone us. So he wants me to do these things. So it depends on the relationship you have built with your spouse from beginning.
Yeah.
They say that in a marriage,
there was something. There is something now that I want to ask you, but I would like you to just make it, give me an answer very briefly, because I'm going to the next segment of the show, which is a segment that is after my heart. I just love that segment. That's the Peg Your Achievement segment. But I don't want to go without asking you this particular question. Your husband is also a community leader. He's my honorable president. How did both of you manage to be community leaders and still, keep the fire
home front?
Keep the home front, just very simply, answer that question, and then we take a quick break.
I would say we work hand in hand. It's just collaboration. Yes, we don't.
I like that word.
We keep everyone involved. Yes, we work collaboratively so that everyone knows what you are doing at a particular time, and we support each other. So.
Yeah, we'll quickly take a short break, and then we'll be back to the Peg Your Achievement segment.
Okay.
Yes, so we are now in the Peg Your Achievement segment. And in this segment, I would like you, after you have given me that beautiful peek into your life, into your home and your personality, I would like you to tell me the most painful experience that you have had as a woman in your whole entire life. What you think, if you want to sum it. And usually for my Peg Your Achievement segment, I want you to use either a single word or a phrase. I will not take a sentence. If you make a sentence, I would nullify it, and then you have to give me another thing. So I want you to tell me in a single word or a phrase the most painful what you would describe as your most painful experience, and then your empowerment. What has empowered you? What would you say has been your empowerment as a woman? And then your gain. What is your gain? What have you gained so far? I'm sure you're still going to make a lot of gains, but so far, what would you consider as your most gainful experience. So I'm going to share my screen and have my board up so that I can have you give it to me. So got my board here. So we have the P.
Okay.
So what's your P?
P revolves around time.
Time.
Yeah, just time.
That's the pain.
Yeah.
I would like to know what this is about.
Yep.
So let's go on. Time. Okay. So your empowerment.
What has empowered me? I would say self-love.
Love.
Self-love. Loving myself.
Love. Self-love. Self-love. I'm loving this. And what is the gain?
Family.
Family.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. So time, self-love, self-love. Sorry.
That's all right.
I did it correctly. Self-love and family. Now let's talk about it. Time. How is time painful?
Time is painful because this is something I've never, discussed with my family. I've never said anything about it to my family. But, I wish, I can turn back the time.
Wow.
To have my father around.
Wow.
This time of my life. Because when I was growing up, I felt like an unwanted child. Because my mom met my dad, while learning. And I was the only one. And my dad did not accept me, even though his parents wanted my mom to stay. He did not want me. He did not want my mom. My mom took me back to Ondo. I've got the support of my family, my maternal family. That is why I'm used to Ondo every time. So I would have loved time, to be able to turn back time and wake my father, for him to be alive and see what I've become.
What he was denying.
Today.
That's profound.
So
that's profound. That's one of the reasons I enjoy doing this segment of the show, because I love to, see into the deeper heart of my guest so that we can all learn from them. And I'm sure there is a lot to learn and unpack in what you just said. We're still going to come to some things. Now, when you talk about self-love, what as an empowerment, what do you mean?
See, when I noticed that I'm alone, I would say, even though I have, my siblings, I have my mom, I have others, I now needed, to kind of study myself and understand myself. Say, okay, what do I really want in life? What is my purpose in life? So I developed that love for myself that, okay, if this person doesn't want me, I want myself. I know I'm capable of doing this. I know I'm capable of doing this. So that self-love is something that empowered me, that gave me that, that assurance that I can do this. I can be this.
It gave confidence.
It gave me that confidence. It empowered me to be able to face the public, to face my future. So self-love is what I would take as something that has, empowered me and made me determined,
Yeah, that's really, really amazing. Now, family, we're still going to be able to take one or two questions from members of the audience, but I want you to talk about this last, what you call your gain, family. How so?
Right. You see, when I said I felt like the rejected child that didn't have a father, I used to admire my, friends, my children, childhood friends that time. When we go to their house, they have the father, they have this. So I used to admire how families, how they come together, And now, because I've been able to, empower myself, I've gained my own family too. So now I know the value of family.
Amazing.
So that is why I say it is
amazing. There's a lot to learn from you. And I'm really very grateful that I was able to bring you on this show today, because what you have shared, what you have brought out, what you have highlighted, what you have pegged for me today is something that I'm sure a lot of my audience will go away with and reflect upon. And on that note, I would like to take one or two comments from members of the audience. I must say to you, you are quite a popular woman and you're wonderful, because I would say this is the highest I've had of Zoom attendees on WinAction. And I just have to say that, because it goes to show just how much of family you have gained. And it's amazing. It's amazing. So if anybody wants to say anything, you can raise your hands, and inshallah, I would take it. So I've got Imam Alhaji Ajikunle. Please make your comments. Please unmute yourself. Oh, I thought I already. You should be able to unmute yourself now.
I have done that, my good sister.
Yeah.
Ramadan, it looks like a family thing today, and it don't now refreshing. This is hopping from one platform to another, and you guys are doing quite wonderfully well. It's quite incredible. I can't begin to mention the feelings that this brings to us as our wives, as our companions, as our partners, you are just everything. Alhaja Rashida, this is quite wonderful.
I have to do this. Thank you so much.
I'm not doing this commendation because I feel like, I'm doing this quite on merit, and I can only just pray. We don't know where you get all this power from. Like, I know your nose. They have, when she proudly said, about Ondo.
I'm from Ondo.
You don't know what this woman means. In the whole of my department, I attended the University of Ife. Now, and I remember all of the lecturers we had, 85% of them were Ondo lecturers, professors. And it became like, in my mind, it was like, maybe it's the thing, it's what it has to be. And I was thinking, maybe because it's the proximity of Ife to Ondo, maybe that is why. But I got to know that their women are quite hardworking. They can make you the best dishes ever. They will make you. They will make you. This is my own. I'm doing personal confession here. When I go to Montagu, this is what I love my food, and I love the way she makes it. She's quite a homemaker, and I'm sure she's not said anything enough about what she represents to some of us here. We know she's quite different from. Take her out of the arena of books and libraries and stuff like that. She is a presenter on the you believe on the Almosino in 2 hours time now. She's already thinking. And one thing about her, she's so dogged. Whatever she's committed to, she will do it so thoroughly well. Nobody can
and that's why she's on this platform today, and that's the kind of women. It's so good to have it come from you, especially our father, our husband, people that we look up to for support, and for you to be saying that is a commendation to her. Thank you so much. The next person I'd like to call is Bilikisu Savage, Alhaja Savage. It's a family thing today. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah.
I feel so emotional listening to Alaja's story, and I feel compelled. I didn't want to say anything, but I had to commend her. Like you, I do admire her behind the scene. I don't say it to her often, but I do admire her strength, our inner strength, our love of community and family. For what she's shared today is actually not just empowering, motivational, inspirational in many words. I admire the fact that she felt at ease to share it openly, globally, because I don't know who's actually watching, and I felt I must commend her because we don't know who's listening. That would take a lot for what you said. So I commend you first and foremost to actually be bold enough to say what you were able to say. I have had to deal with stories similar to yours where if one parent reject the child, it is very touching and very emotional. And I commend the love you have for yourself to carry yourself. Clearly, the self-love and the family thing is clearly shown in you. May Almighty Allah continue to strengthen you, bless you, reward you, and guide you. And I just say you're inspirational, you're motivating. Keep up the good work. Allah will continue to strengthen you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you very much. That's one of our very inspirational women within the community, and she's going to be on WinAction soon. So that's giving it out so people to know. And it's amazing what you said, because that's one of the purpose of this platform. We want to share and we want people to learn, and we want to show just how very strong we are as women and what we can achieve. And the next person I'd like to call is Abibat Alavi.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for making. It's been so interesting and so eye-opening listening to my mum, talk about her experiences growing up and all the way to today. I mean, obviously she's my mum. I've spent 23 years with her, and there's still things that I'm learning. And like Sister was saying, this week just before me, that was saying about the openness. It's amazing. I've learned so much from my mum, like grace, hard work, taking your time with things, how to approach conflict. It's the things that I've learned from her are immense. And I'm every day, I'm so proud of her, and she inspires me. And I do have a question as well. So your PEG, words were really inspiring, and I really learned a lot about you from that. I was wondering how you cultivate that self-love that you were talking about that sustains you. What are the kinds of things that you do that that kind of keep that up?
When I said my dad didn't, take me then, I have, there and then, when I became old enough to know my left from right, I determined within myself that I am going to love myself, I am going to appreciate myself, and I'm going to have a family that I would dedicate my all to. And alhamdulillah, I've got the family, and I'm, able to bring them together, there are lots of things that would have happened, in a family setting. Not every family, is not all rosy, you understand? But the fact that I always commit what I want to do to God before I even start it. God has been, faithful, and he's been very, very kind to me. So it is the grace of God that has helped me thus far. Yeah.
Yeah, I there is something I want to say. The question that your daughter just asked. In the first instance, the fact that she is here and the kind of things she said has shown that actually your gain in itself is the family, because it's so profound to hear that. And when you're talking about self-love and how you arrive at that, I think appreciating what you have gives you love of yourself. And that goes back to what you said about knowing that the grace of God in you it's all that, it's what makes you achieve what you achieve. So the self-love, the way we achieve, what I have learned from what you've said, the way you can achieve self-love is for you to appreciate what you have. When you appreciate what you have, then you can start looking for other things that you want to, you also want to take. And just before we go on, I think there was someone that had their hand raised, Funke. So I think that unfortunately will be the last one we'll be able to take today. Funke, please unmute yourself. Yeah, go on.
Okay. I'm so grateful to God. I'm the second to the last child in the family. I'm her sister.
Oh, amazing. I'm so happy. I'm happy we did this today. Go on.
So, and I'm so happy to watch my sister to have grown this much. But there is a whole lot of, age difference between us. But, growing up, I'm imagining what it is. Okay, we now as a younger, she's the eldest in the family. We as a younger ones, we have her to look up to. And, now I have my family. I'm married by God's grace and I'm in my own home.
Amazing.
I look at the way they are right now, adult life is not easy. So we look to her and I'm like, okay, wait, who was she even looking up to? Wow. She had to sort things out on her own. How does she even do it? And she's somebody that everybody's problem is her problem. The last time she was home,
I attest to that.
I'm like, big sis, you just need to sleep, because it was from this person's problem, because she ensured she touched everywhere when she came. I was like, okay, we are not going to sleep, and tomorrow you are still up going somewhere. Okay, please just go to sleep. I'm grateful to God for her life. And last year she completed her master's degree, and I told her, big sis, I joined the Zoom meeting that day, and I told her I'm coming after you. Right now I'm doing the course I had always, I'm like, if my sister is doing this at 50, oh my God.
So she's like that role model. And that's the whole essence of having her here today. And so it's not just you, that will be gaining that from her. We have a whole lot of people watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, some of us that are here, not even some of us, I'm sure all of us here have something to learn from her. And it's amazing that she has this backing, this family that she says, is there for her, that support network. And it's good to hear some of you, talk. I said I was going to make you the last person to speak, but I just keep having hands up, and I don't know what to do. You know what? I want to say, no, after I have two people, Billy Badmus and MD Elias. After these two people, nobody should raise hand again. I hope you people heard me. So I'm going to allow, where's Billy Badmus?
I'm here.
Yeah, go on, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What can I say? Halaja Alabi, you've been great. She's my adopted mother in the UK because my mom doesn't live here. So I've always, how do I put it? I appreciate everything she's done for me. She's taking me as a daughter. She looks after my child whenever I want her to. She gives me advice. And what can I say? I don't know. It's just great to have you to talk about things that has gone well for you and things that hasn't. And it's just been a pleasure listening to that. And I don't know. I'm just short of words. Right now, it's just been great listening to you.
I think you are expressing the feelings and emotion of almost everyone on this platform. She's an amazing woman, and that's why she's a winner. That's why she's a woman in action, and that's why she's doing a lot and impacting a lot of people. And it's very nice to have people like you come up and say the things you say about her. I think I'll go to MB Elias now, ma.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, we are all.
Hearing most of the things she has said. We need more of some ladies like her, mainly in this country.
Yeah.
Because when you are over 7,000 miles away from Ondo, it's a long way. And then all what she has gone through is by Allah's mercy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then anything you want to do in life, always pray. When you pray, everything will be okay.
Yeah.
And I wish her more success, and the family, may God be with them. And the husband, I'm very proud of him as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because when you marry a lady and you are taking good care of her, and she's taking good care of you, the family will progress.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And she has blessed us with with you know what she has, because that's why we have people like you here on this show today and sharing, you know, the kind of wisdom you're sharing with us, and we pray
because
that will be with
you
too.
learn. We learn, is teaching a lot of us. Some people that they will say they are too old to learn, or they don't know what to do. Hearing something like this, they need to go and sit down and think twice.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Ma. I think that is a very good note to try to wrap up the program today. It's been quite amazing.
Sorry, Elijah, while wrapping up, part of the wrap up is there's an environment. I love to talk about the environment.
Yeah.
Honorable Abdul Majid, additional Alabi has presented that environment of self-love. If you do not love yourself, you can't know how to love. It means this is somebody who likes to love herself, and from there she's able to love. She loves us because we are our husband's friend. She closes her eyes and she just gives love because she's in an environment of love. So I thank Alaji Alabi to give her the environment where she can love people who come there, and for the love that she's giving to her as well. She's done a great job. And for giving her an environment of Islam, I forever remain eternally grateful to Abdul Majid Alabi.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that. I was going to actually come to that because there was something she said about collaboration. So a lot of times homes, women who face difficulties is because they don't have that kind of collaborative environment. They don't have supporting families and friends. There's a lot of well wishes on the chat box for you. There was someone who raised their hand, but because I couldn't take them, I would read what they have put in the chat. Somebody using Alcatel. The person said, Alhamdulillah for our dear sister, very inspirational. She has so much strength and intelligence, always willing to give to everyone. And that's from Sister Nurat Abdul Malik. Okay, that's one of you see. There are this platform is just for this purpose. That is celebrating and highlighting the strengths of our women, and that there are a lot of them that I'm still going to bring. So you have set the trail with just like others, and there's something I would like us to finish with today, and that is on your peg your achievement. For those of you watching either on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and for those of us here, my guest today, Falilat Olubumi Alabi, has given us 3 things to go away with. She has given us time. She says time is very painful, and yes, time can be very painful. Whatever time you're going through right now and you feel that it's never going to end, remember there's going to be a time when you would again remember those times and say to yourself, how I wish those painful times can come back again, and I'll be able to do things correctly, or I can show the other party that this is what it's supposed to be. This is what time have helped me to achieve. So time is very important, and we all need to learn from it. And self-love. What else do I want to say about self-love? The last speaker has just told us that it's about the environment. Please create the love environment for people around you so that they can love themselves and be able to love you better. So these are the things that my guest is trying to, is telling us today. And of course, family. What can we talk about family? It's there. That's why we have this large family at the Old Kent Road, at Al Muksenu, online, everywhere in the world. The family is very, very important. And I'll just give my guest 1 second to say our final words to everyone. 1 second, or no, not 1 second, 30 seconds.
Right. Thank you all for joining us today on this platform. And I really appreciate all your kind words. God bless you. And may Allah be with you, and your own homes will not go in ruins. And I want you to go home with one thing. You cannot give what you do not have. So if you don't have love within yourself, if you do not love yourself, when they say love your neighbor as thyself, so you have to first love yourself before you can love another person. And I want to say a very big thank you to my darling husband, Additional. He is always my backbone. Yeah. Anything I'm doing is always saying, go on, Olu, you can do this. Olu, you can do that. So I really, like Alaji Ajikale said, he is my backbone. And I'm really grateful that, you know, I spoke to one of my former classmates 2 days ago. She said, you know, when we're talking about marriage, she said, Bumi, because they call me Bumi. It's my husband that calls me Olu. He said, Bumi, go and kneel down tomorrow morning. Go and meet Uncle Shina. Kneel down and thank him for looking after you. I said, why should I do that? He said, because not all men have this thing there, that all of them, some of them have already got, you know, loose knots, you know, things like that. So I really want to say a very big thank you to my husband. I pray that
I think it's the grace of Allah, because this is a man that supports even people that he doesn't know outside the community, in the community. You know, all you just need to do is talk with him, tell him what you have as a problem, and he's there. He wants to do everything. So I'm not too surprised, but I'm really, really delighted that he brings the same. He does not only say what he's saying, he's actually doing what he preaches, and that is amazing to know. And for you, with what you said to us and to everyone watching us, I want us to go away with these inspirational quotes that I picked from my happy jar today. You know, my previous guest, you know, did this happy jar, and there is a lot of inspirational notes there, and this one is what I want us to go away with. And it says, have no fear, I am with you, hearing and seeing. And that is Surah Taha, 20, that's Surah 20, verse 46 of the Quran. So the Allah was with you, and he has brought you this far, and we are happy and delighted that you gave us the opportunity to learn from you and you know, share with you. So on that note, I would like to thank everyone who has been able to join this episode of Women in Action. And I see a lot of you come today, and I expect that I will see you next week also when I bring another inspirational woman. I know that it is Mrs. Alabi that have attracted, you know, lots of us here today, and I'm sure that you will be here next week to be part of the show when we bring another inspirational woman. And whoever it is that is around you that is a woman, please, please, please give them time. Let them love themselves by creating the love environment for them, and be who you should be, a good family. Thank you.